is Trickster Gaming.
What is happening, everybody? Thank you guys so much for checking out this video and welcome back to the channel. My name is Infamous Trickster, and today we're going to be looking at some tips and tricks for the game called Once Human. Now, I know a lot of you might already know a lot of these tips. Some of you guys are veterans, been playing since beta, and I mean, to be honest with you, there's a lot of new people in the community just joining, and they don't have all of this information available to them, or the game just straight up doesn't tell you. So I just wanted to do a couple of tips and tricks, some things that I felt like were not explained as well or not touched on as well in terms of the tutorial and that kind of thing. So we're going to go ahead and jump in. So let's go. So our very first tip that we're going to be talking about is going to be deviations. Now, deviations are something that you get in quite abundance as you play the game. As you can see here, this is after a server transfer and we're still on phase 1, and all of the ones that don't have the chain beside them are from this current server. So as you can see, you get deviations in abundance, a large abundance. So they are very important in terms of gameplay. They can change the tide of a battle in seconds. Really what it comes down to is how well you use them, how well they're complementing your playstyle realistically, and pretty much if if you want to make it so that they can heal you, you can have a specific one for that. You can have ones that enhance your current abilities that you have, like the Xeno Purifier. Once you summon him, you can actually use it to do a long range strike, so it teleports you to the target once you're using a melee weapon. There's a bunch of different ones. Some of them are just specifically for your territory, like this grow shroom here. He's just going to be working on your plants once you start farming and that kind of thing in the game. The Digby boys, I mean, I'm sure all of you guys have seen these already. They're pretty much just going to be bringing you resources. That's going to be ores and gravel and that kind of thing. So deviations are extremely important, whether they're going to be combat or working in the territory. Both have their own importance and significance. Now, the one thing I wanted to mention as well is a lot of people, I don't know if they just don't notice, but I've seen when you're doing different things, like when I was on the Manibus server, you can summon your deviation just like that, and it stays around. Now, if you're looking at the bottom right corner, right beside the gun silhouette, you can see the ticking time for the deviation to be active. Now, what you can do is you can use this for a certain amount of time. So let's just say I'm killing a boss or whatever it is. You can recall it to your cradle. So you're using the same icon, the same button that you're using to summon, which is your E key on the PC. You can use the same key, hold it, and drag the mouse down, and what it's going to do is it's going to recradle your deviation. So pretty much what's going to happen is, let's just say you come up against an elite, the elite dies, and you still have about half of the time on the deviation. You can recall it, so you're not wasting it an entire time when it's just your deviation is going to be out and not really benefiting you. Now, this is going to be obviously for the ones that are doing damage and that kind of thing. There's other ones that are going to be healing you and giving you cover, like the jelly. So it all depends. It all depends on your playstyle and which one you have. But the recall is a very big point that I wanted to make, just so that you can have it out, maximize it as much as you can when you're out in the battlefield. So the next tip that we're going to be looking at, we're going to be talking about weapon accessories. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and look at just the one that I've got equipped at the moment. Now, what you can do is when you're looking at the weapon customization screen, you click on accessories, and there's going to be a bunch of them that are available to this specific weapon. Now, what you can actually do is, instead of opening each of these individual categories one by one to look and see what's available, what you can do is go into the bottom here, and you can actually click on I, and it's going to show you all the accessories that are available to this specific weapon. Now, because this is a shotgun, there's not that many accessories available, but I just wanted to show you what you can actually see. So normally it would show you the sights and everything else in the same category. So as of now, what you can see is the ones that you have unlocked, the ones you haven't unlocked are obviously indicated with a lock sign. So what you want to do is when you're looking for a specific accessory that you don't currently have, what you can actually do is you hover above it and it's going to tell you exactly where to find that attachment. So what you're going to pretty much do is you hover above it. It's going to tell you exactly what it is, where it is located. So this one here, you can see it's eye balloon in West Red Sands. If you look at another one, this one is telling you here it's in Ember Strands, Riddle Spot, Ray Tracer. So there's just a bunch of different ones that you can look for depending on what you're looking for, which attachment, and they're scattered throughout the map. So you can just look at whichever one you're looking for specifically, hover above it, and it's going to tell you what gun it's actually useful for and where you're going to be able to find this. So a lot of the attachments work with other weapons as well. They're not specifically tied to a specific type of weapon. So you can mix and match them that way as well. The next point that we're going to be looking at, this tip, we're going to be talking about calibrations. Now, calibrations on the weapon are acquired mainly through dismantling weapons that you pick up doing silos, monoliths, and anything that rewards some sort of dropped gear. So what you're going to be looking at is when you come to the disassembly bench, as you can see here, it shows the little icon, and pretty much what this is saying is if you dismantle it, you're going to be getting the calibration tab at the bottom there. Now, one thing we have to keep in mind is that there are a plethora of different variations in different stats and specializations. As you can see here, there's one that's precision style, so it's going to be giving you attack, range, minus a little bit of firepower. The one beside it, we're looking at heavy style, so it's giving you magazine capacity minus reload speed. Furthermore, if you're looking at the second and third part, so under precision style, you see crit damage, and then under crit damage, you see crit rate. Now, this is something that changes drastically, and I mean, it could change a crit build to being a weak spot build or an elemental build, depending on what you see for those two stats under the style. So I'm just going to show you guys what we're working with here. So you click on it, and right here it shows you the calibration blueprint that's going to come through along with the rest of the materials to create this weapon. So go ahead, dismantle it. Now what we're going to do, we're going to go over to the gear workbench, and we're going to go over to the calibrations tab at the top, and we're going to click on the shotgun because the shotgun is the one that we were disassembled at the bench. Once we click on this shotgun, we can click here. So you can see it comes with some attributes. They're not really the greatest attributes. There's always better ones that you can get from weapons. Now what you can do is you click on it, and it's going to show you which ones are available to this weapon. Now, as you can see, the one thing I want to point out first and foremost is the cost. The cost is very costly. I mean, if you're not swimming in Stardust source at this point, it's going to be very expensive. I'm still on the first week of my scenario right now, so I've only got about 600 Stardust source. If you're later on in your scenario, you probably have a bunch at this point. But for me, not so much. With that being said, that's one thing I wanted to point out because it is a hefty 500 Stardust source to change the calibration for the weapon. And the way it works is it's going to be based on the weapon itself. So it's going to tell you this one here, you can see it's only going to be for the Desert Eagle, the R500, and the G17. So I'm pretty sure that's all the handgun weapon types for this calibration. As you can see for the melee, it does the same thing. So any melee weapon that you dismantle from dropped gear is going to give you these calibrations to put on something else that you would like. And the way to get through that is when you go into the calibration tab, you're going to be clicking on replace attributes. So that's the main way that you're going to get to that. This tip is in regards to presets. Now, a lot of you might call them loadouts or have any other terminology for it, but essentially what we're looking at is gear sets that work, that synergize well you want to kind of maybe just save in a set kind of thing. So it doesn't really give you much information in regards to that, but let's just say I want to save this setup here. So right now I'm currently using the ACS 12 corrosion shotgun with crit rate, crit damage. So what we're going to click on at the bottom here, you can see where it says save. Again, it doesn't give you much information, it just says save. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit H, and it's going to give you all of the options that you can actually put here. So as you can see, my stuff have actually transferred over from my previous server. A lot of the weapons I haven't rebuilt yet on this server, but as you can see, some of them are here. This is the corrosion build that I was using just before I transferred servers. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go ahead and click on preset, and we're going to hit R to save. Now it's not going to give a name, so you probably want to put a name for it just so you know what it is that we're saving here. So we're going to be looking at Way of Winter. Oops, let's try that again. Way of Winter corrosion. The reason why I'm putting it as a Way of Winter is because the skill tree, the cradle tree, is different than it is on the Manibus. So let's go ahead and save that, and now we've got it as part of our set. Now if you have multiple sets, I'm sure many of you do at this point, things obviously don't all work together, so you have to make things work, synergize well. So this is a good way to keep track of that, and just on the fly you can switch out whenever it's necessary. So the last tip that we're going to be talking about today is going to be mods. Mods are a huge game changer. They change everything in the build, and they make the difference. They really do make the difference. So I wanted to just touch on it and just kind of let you guys know how they work and what to do, what not to do, and that kind of thing. So if you go into your backpack and then you hit the mods tab here, you're going to bring it over to weapons and armor mods. So what we're looking at is mods for each of your weapons. So as of right now, let's just take my example. I am currently using the corrosion shotgun, which is a power surge build. Now the power surge build, let me just show you guys. I'm going to go back to the gear and show you. So as you can see here, 70% chance for the weapon features to trigger power surge with a hit, but will not inflict power surge status. Now the status, what it does is it's kind of like a stagger. It just electrocutes the enemy, that kind of thing. So it doesn't work. It doesn't give me any type of power surge status when I'm using this shotgun. But what it does do is power surge can deal crit hit, which is something that doesn't happen with every other continuous damage or elemental damage. So this is going to do a critical hit, and the power surge crit rate is plus 15%. And then when I do trigger power surge, it's going to be giving a crit damage increase for 6 seconds, and the power surge damage factor plus 15%. So just taking the very first sentence here, we're looking at the power surge status. We're not getting any of the power surge status. So when we're looking at our mods now, what we're looking for primarily, I would suggest for this shotgun at least, we're going to be using, so this mod here, what we're looking at is power surge status duration minus 50% and power surge damage plus 20%. Again, we're not getting any power surge status, so minus 50% of nothing is already nothing, so that doesn't matter. So this is why this one is ideal, because we're going to be getting that increased power surge damage by 20%. So what we're going to be looking at is really just how mods really change. I mean, you're not going to put a fire mod in a power surge weapon or a frost vortex weapon, because it doesn't make sense. You're not going to be benefiting anything from it, so you might as well make it synergize well with an appropriate mod for your selected weapon. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about is the mod conversion. Now the mod conversion is actually really nice because as you can see, I've got a bunch of mods that came over from the previous server. I'm obviously going to be getting a bunch of mods on this new server as well, and they pile up. They pile up after time, and a lot of them are pretty useless, especially if You're looking for a specific build and you're not getting the right mods that you're looking for. So what you want to pretty much do is, let's just say we're looking at this one here, Elemental Havoc. So this one gives elemental damage. When HP is above 90%, you gain an additional 10%. So that's giving 20% total as long as your HP is above 90%. So what we want to do is, let's say we're looking for my specific build right now, which is the Corrosion 12 shotgun, ACS 12 shotgun. So look here, and based on the amount of mods that you have with this specific suffix, you can actually gain another brand new mod with that specified suffix. So let's say Talents is going to be giving us elemental damage. So if you wanted to do something with a fire build or a frost vortex build, you'd be going with Talents. Precision is going to be giving something entirely different. I believe that's going to be weak spot damage. Violent gives crit damage. You could choose random, but again, you're just gambling at that point. So you want to kind of go with which you want specifically for that specific type of build. So let me just show you guys how this works. So if I click on Talents, it's telling me I've got 12 of the required 4. So you need 4 to be able to give a specific Talents or precision suffix. So here you can see it's giving 4 options that need to be in the talent suffix. So if I click on here, I'm going to be looking for ones that I don't really need, or they don't have the best stats on them. So this one isn't bad. The only thing that's really bad on here is the head damage reduction. You'd be looking for the ones that don't give you, like maybe they're giving you a bunch of like damage reduction or something like that, that aren't really benefiting your damage overall. So you click on 4 of them, and then you can click 2 random ones for the last 2 here once you got those. And then what's going to do is going to give you a new Elemental Havoc with a talent suffix, which is going to be giving you elemental damage as a base, as a standard. So that's pretty much it for the mods. So that is going to be it for this video today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in to this video. If you guys found these tips helpful, definitely leave a like on the video, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more tips and tricks in the Once Human game. I'm definitely going to be dropping other videos as well regarding tips. I'm going to be doing like a review, just a general review of the game, what things are good, what things aren't so good, what could be improved, and that kind of thing. Although the Once Human developers have been very responsive and receptive to changes and such things as player preferences and just everyday life changes, it's been very good in that sense. So that's gonna be it for this video, guys. I appreciate you guys checking it out, and we will see you guys in the next one. Infamous Trickster, signing out.